G'day, how are you? Here's a quick look at the build so far. Cutting out all the boards, all the carpentry and all the bits and pieces. I've got the shelf measurements. Preparing the water pump, cable tie, all this like this, because this one here is obviously going to go on a board either that way. I have popped the switch out. That was nice and easy. You can see on the screen there it's all these switches here, because with the shunt you want to run all your gear into the shunt. 240 sockets are on this side here, and these cables coming out the side here, and as the battery will fit in here, no worries, and these cables are just going to go straight out through. Probably wondering how the hell you're going to be measuring bloody how much water you got in this tank. That's the front there. They have the option to screw them in. They also have the sticky on the back here. Something like that. Something like that. So a lot of work done so far, but we're on the downhill now. Today we're continuing with a 12-volt install, and we're actually fitting everything in. However, true to form, there was a little incident when I was testing the water pump, but hurdles are made for jumping, aren't they? But if you're one of the 85% of people watching our videos at the moment that aren't subscribed, hit the button, help us out. We really appreciate that one. But I am definitely enjoying bringing this build to you. I definitely learned a lot doing this, and you can see from this video today, I learned a little bit more. But anyway, grab yourself a drink, make yourself comfortable. Let's get in the video. Alrighty, the day is here. Finally. It felt like it never come, but we're ready to put this in. Alright, so now that I've got everything connected up here, it's time to give you a look at the control hub in here. I did slightly overfill the water tank before. Not sure if the water was in there from the overfill incident that I had, or perhaps the outlet I got there doesn't have enough tape on there. It is a bit loose. Alright. Got a problem. Alrighty, ready to go. Ready to put this thing finally. It's been a long time coming, to be honest with you, but before I connect up the rest, I am going to connect up the battery. I am going to test out the water pump with the water tank first to make sure that's all good to go, because before I fix everything in, and I will have the chance to fix that before I get too far along. So that'll be the last thing I need to test. Everything else has been tested and ready to go. Right, so now that I've got everything connected up here, it's time to give you a look at the control hub in here. Now I'm going to talk you through how it comes pre-configured. I have changed some things in here and I'll talk you through that, but I'm also going to tell you what I've done and where I've run things and a modification I've made in here and why. I have to watch my head here because the struts of this one here don't hold up, and I keep hitting my head, so that's something I'm definitely going to bloody get fixed. So there's a lot going on here, as you can see, But let's start here. So this one here is the back of the control hub monitor, or the shunt monitor. That one there runs all the way into that one there, into the shunt. Now these connections here, you got the 4 Anderson connections. This one here is for the DC-DC charger, so you've got the charging connection there, the negative and the positive connections there. This one here is for solar. And then walking you through here, so obviously got the positive and the negative. This is the back of the switches. This is the back of the USB connections. Now what's happening with all these is they all run up into here, in the front here, which is where all the fusing is. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 switches. All those connections there. So all the USB connections, all the switches, all run up through here. They're all fused, and it runs out into this one here, which runs straight through to the positive bridge bolt here, is powered by this big thick cable here that's running to the battery. Now these Anderson plugs, they are fused as well. So we've got 1 cable, 2 cable, 3 cable here, which is obviously powering this board itself. Those 3 run up into these 3 MIDI fuses here. So as you can see, everything on this board is fused. This is the modification that I've made. So this is a 100 amp MIDI fuse in here, which I've just Sikaflexed in there. I didn't want to drill any holes, but also want to make sure it's out the way, nice and clear. I want access to all these fuses in case I need to. So those 3 I can get there. This is where the challenge comes in with these control hubs, is when you're using such big bloody thick cable. I had a bit of a mission to try and find a channel, if you like, where it wasn't hitting the back of this, so I could actually bloody get it closed. And I wanted to make sure I had access to all the fuses, but I also want to make sure there wasn't any contact with anything. So what happens is everything, all the negatives run to the buzz bar here. And then with this cable here, it runs up into the in part of the shunt there. And this big cable here, this is the negative from the inverter coming in here as well. So everything is connected to the negative here. This cable here, which is the out, we've got this one here, which runs down into the battery. So that's all the negatives taken care of there, right? Now the positives are a little bit different. This one here is the positive from the air compressor running through the 100 amp mini fuse, which runs down in under here to the positive bridge bolt. Remembering that cable there is the, I'll chuck on the screen which one it was. That was the iTECH supply cable running all down through there. That'll run to the battery. Now, if you've got something that needs fusing, you're running them into the fuse like I've done there. You're running them to the switches here. Positive to the switches, negative to the shunt. So this one here is the positive from the water gauge. This one here, I believe, is the positive to the water pump. This one here is the positive for the lights. And this one here is the switch for the air compressor, not the positive, because the positive is running up through there. And in the inverter, positive is going straight from the inverter to the battery via the 450 amp fuse. So now all my wiring is done. Everything is fused, and everything is fused with what it needs. So now I'm going to close this up. I'm going to get it fixed in there. The bench tests I did, everything worked nice and easy. But now I've got everything in here. Now's the chance I've got to check for the plumbing with the water pump, because I haven't been able to check that yet. But once I've got this closed up here, I'll then show you what the front of the control hub looks like. Right, moment of truth. I did slightly overfill the water tank before. I do need to get one of those bloody gauges as soon as I can. I haven't checked in the last week, but they were sold out over Christmas, so I've dried that up. It was easy to think, oh, hang on, I'll just let it keep running there, and, oh shit, hang on, it's only 40 litres, it might not take that much. Anyway, everything's all connected up, ready to go. So I'm going to test everything at this point in time. None of this is fixed in, it's just sitting here. Now's the moment to make sure everything works before I go in there. I haven't had a chance to check the DC-DC charger yet, so the battery's reasonably full, but I'm actually going to try and drain a little bit of power here in the moment to make sure it's charging off the car and doing everything that it needs to do. All good. That was the lights. Switch that off. Next one was that's the water pump. There we go. There we go, that's set to 40 litres. So that one works. Better check the charge in this one. Unfortunately, the lights are on the inside here. We'll turn the car on and we'll see if it charges. Alright, so all the testing went well, everything did what it needed to do. I have actually emptied the water tank now because I'm not sure if the water was in there from the overfill incident that I had, or perhaps the outlet I got there doesn't have enough tape on there. It is a bit loose. I'm just going to take this, lean it back again now. I'm just going to have a look at all the fittings to make sure there's any water, or make sure there wasn't any water come out. I have stuck my hand in there and it doesn't seem like there's been any leaks or anything like that, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to disconnect that hose down the bottom there now, pull it out, put some more tape on there and just firm it up, and then that way I know for sure there's no water getting out, and we're good to go to get this thing fitted in. Right, got a problem. So everything worked, which was absolutely fantastic. I was very relieved. But I did notice so this is the side, this is where everything goes essentially, and the water hose was going in here, which was on a right angle like that. When I connected this up, it did feel like there was a bit of a wiggle, and maybe like when I wiggled it, a bit of water came out, and I thought maybe it was because I didn't put enough bloody tape around the thread there. But I'm thinking, I tried to pull the hose off and I just ended up pulling this off. What I think I done is, in my haste to try and get the hose on here, remember the thread is brass, but the connection is plastic. So I think trying to get the hose on there, I maybe just sort of split this bit and been a bit rough with it, which would explain it, because I can't see any water getting out through that thread there, and I could feel it like just as I was putting my finger on there when I gave it a wiggle, which tells me the wiggle was obviously creating a bit of a water gap. And so my intention was to pull the hose off, take this out and have a look at it, and yeah, just end up breaking off, which I think I half did the first time anyway. So I guess it's a good thing it happened. Be able to get another one of these fittings here, chuck them in there, won't be a hassle. I just hope I have one here, which I may not. Alrighty, just had lunch and a bit of a breather. Had a productive little stretch there this morning, so I guess I start off with the tapping screw, or the hex head tapping screw in the top there. It was a little bit of a miss to try and get in there. There's not a lot of room, but managed to make that work with a couple of extensions. I got the two screws fixed up there on the parcel shelf, so that one there is nice and tight there. Is all done now. That's all fixed in, nice and firm, and everything's perfect. The way I ended up doing it was the way I should have done in the first place, but yeah, you live and you learn. It was I think it was a $2 part, $2.90 part from Bunnings to get what that one sorted there. So once I had this all leaned over, it was very easy to get those done. Air hose is fixed in there now. That actually come up a treat. So air's all good now, water's all good now, this is all fixed in. So next job is I'm going to fix up the board on the back there. I'm going to use 2 of these ones here, I'll chuck them on screen there. So I'm going to have one on this side here, I'm going to have another one this side here, and then I painted these black. I'm going to use 2 of these on the outside here to fix in there, so black means they shouldn't stick out too much, but being on the back there, it's pretty unlikely. It's not like they're going to protrude at all. So 2 of these that should keep that nice and firm on the back there. But all that's said and done, let's keep going here. All right, work's come to a halt. It's one of those, it's a minor detail, but it's going to give me the shits if I don't fix it now. And now is the time to fix it. So I got the spirit level there because the top bit is a little bit higher on this side here by, I don't know, maybe 5 mil. The back is good because I can see the back is lining up with the window seal. It's just my cut along here obviously wasn't as straight as it needs to be. So it's not a massive job. It's just, Jesus, it's just on a bloody roll. All I'm going to have to do now is undo these 2 on each of the 3 brackets there. That should be fine just to hang off those 3 brackets there, hopefully. If not, I'll just have to undo those, and hey, it's just taking out 12 screws essentially. Bloody mongrel. The plan after this was try and get this nice and straight, taking this bastard out. 2 of these along the side here, 2 along that side there, put those in, put the fridge slide on the top of that. I just have to put the back of the battery box on there and the battery, and we're getting there, but anyway, let's get this fixed up.